This episode of Ringer Reality TV Podcast is brought to you by Diet Coke. Let's face it, there are times when we may get a little too invested in our favorite reality shows. And that's when you need to pause and take a Diet Coke break to get back to reality. Shouting at your TV because your fave hate watch just keeps being nasty? Take a sip. Hiding behind pillows from too much cringe? Take a sip. Even getting a little too deep researching people's backgrounds? Please, take a sip. Diet Coke. Make time for you time.
Have been asking for this one. We are back under different circumstances. We knew season 50 was going to be announced, and we knew that there was going to be a lot of chatter about it. And I got bombarded with so many questions asking me what I thought Mallory Rubin thought. And so I was like, well,
yeah.
Maybe we should just hear it straight from her. And before we get into it, Mallory Rubin, podcast legend at The Ringer, years and years and years. And in some way, the connection to me being a part of the Ringer family.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. My greatest accomplishment in the history of the company. That and hiring Riley when he was a junior in college.
Both of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for believing in us. Hopefully we've done you proud so far.
Always.
Always good. That gives me more confidence to do better. Mallory, thank you for that. We're very excited to have you. We're excited to share our opinions on this cast.
Yeah.
The cast that celebrates every single era of Survivor thoroughly and correctly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Jeff Probst.
And no era more than any other, right?
No era more than ever than any other. Very well balanced. Season 50, Jeffrey Probst, Nepo baby season. Let's get into it.
Oh, man.
I was just going to go down chronologically based on how old the players were from the beginning all the way through. I don't know if we'll share our thoughts at the end about it as a whole.
Okay.
And I just want to know, good pick, bad pick, maybe pick, whatever.
Okay.
And then we'll get into it at the end and we can have some predictions about how 50 will turn out for us.
Fantastic.
Season 1 pick. We have someone from season 1. We needed someone from season 1. Yeah. You can't do the celebration of the eras without a season 1 pick. Jenna Lewis, as we know her, and her last name, Doherty, I guess. This is how you would probably say that?
I don't know.
Let's all
Couldn't
attempt
tell you.
it. Let's all attempt it real quick here.
Doherty?
Doherty, right?
Doherty?
I think you
all right,
jam.
We've got 4 solid options.
And they're all different. Mal, how do you feel about this pick?
I agree with what you said. I think you have to have somebody from season 1 and like the process of initially opening up the cast list. This is not true. I didn't initially open up the cast list. I saw all of the articles, all of which had the photo of Mike White, texted 20 of my friends specifically about that, and then looked at the rest of the cast, which I assume is an experience a lot of people had.
Yes.
And then, as soon as you dive in and you start to look at the balance across seasons and how this idea of, I think if anybody hasn't yet read Riley's piece on theringer.com, what a great website, they should check that out after they listen to this podcast, because I think, not to tip my overall feeling, but I think Riley nailed the big picture takeaway of like, what is the theme exactly? Like, what is the through line exactly? And is there one? And so on the one hand, starting at the beginning feels right. And on the other hand, it maybe gave a false impression of the balance and even spread to come. That said, great to see Jenna here.
I love it too.
Yeah.
I have had production reach out and be like, who from those early seasons? Jenna was one of the names I said. I said, it's been so long. We have no idea how she's going to play. We don't have any. She's been through a lot. She has a family. She's a different person. Let's see her.
She's never played on a season with idols before. It's like kind of the original twist that's become just part of the core gameplay.
Yeah.
They didn't have idols back in All Stars, which is their last season. So who the heck knows what's going to happen with her out there? I'm all in on Jenna.
That's a great observation. And I think in general, one of the things that's really exciting about just the core concept of bringing players together from the whole tapestry of Survivor history, in theory.
Yes.
Again, does that happen in practice? We'll discuss. But in theory, bringing all together like the different styles of gameplay, sprinkling in as another variable, paired with that, this question of like, what did the fans want to see? Like, what will the idol reality of this season actually look like? We still don't know. And then how will everybody bring their exposure and experience with that or lack thereof to the circumstances on the ground? And then how will that impact the way other people assess what people might do?
Yeah.
Like, people don't know what Jenna would do with idols because they've not gotten to watch that. So that adds an extra degree of unpredictability in a season that is like inherently defined by familiarity. And I think that's obviously very important.
I like the pick. I think there's a handful of people you could have picked from season 1. She's on that short list. So good. Jenna Lewis, thumbs up. Great. Number 2 from season 2.
Get ready to clear out for me on this one.
And I am the same as well, but I do have a little backstory here that might make you change your mind a little bit. We have heroic Colby Donaldson.
Yeah.
You seem to have some thoughts on this, Mallory.
Let's see. This is a family-friendly podcast. And the first time I joined you a couple of years ago, Tyson, you very kindly asked me to please stop cursing so much.
No, we curse now. We have the explicit rating now by all of our stuff.
And exactly. And now I feel much more able to podcast the way that I like to podcast.
Okay.
I've said on many a Ringer pod before, usually Ringer movie podcasts, that Harrison Ford, specifically Harrison Ford in the cinematic classic Witness, and Jordan Catalano on My So-Called Life, these are the characters and the people who taught me what desire was. But there is a third person on the list, and it is Colby.
Okay.
I'm not sure I've ever had as big of a crush on anybody as I did on Colby in real time.
Yes.
In the Outback season. It was just an astonishing force of nature on our screens.
Okay.
And obviously everything since then has been a letdown.
Yeah.
But that memory, that formative,
that's enough to keep it going.
I gasped when I saw him on the list.
Really?
Gasped. Yeah.
Even after he was such a dud on Heroes versus Villains.
Especially after. Because now I'm like, can Colby...
Can he get worse? Can he get worse?
Well, we have a couple different outcomes. We have the can Colby be the Colby that we all believe
he cannot.
He can be?
He cannot.
Okay, but then, great news.
Physically, he cannot.
You know what I loved about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny? That they were like, sometimes heroes get old.
But we learned that on Heroes versus Villains. We already had learned that about him. If we learn that again, like what?
Okay, but counterpoint, the game is a lot less physical now. Have you seen some of the people they're casting in the new era? Like I think 50-year-old Colby.
But Colby was bad at the non-physical stuff. And then on Heroes versus Villains, he was also bad at the physical stuff. So now he has zero advantage at all. And I don't know if he has the...
Handsome, though.
Very handsome. I haven't seen him recently. I don't know how handsome he currently is. Is he still currently quite handsome?
Here's the thing you should know about me. I love a middle-aged man.
Oh, thank you. Mallory?
Well,
okay, I'm 45, right in the middle.
So Colby aging is not only not a barrier for me, it's like a real fastball down the middle.
Okay.
I'm thrilled.
And I was disappointed in this only because his Heroes versus Villains story arc was just like, he went from hero to wow, that guy's not good. And he was yelling at his brother for a challenge that didn't even matter in the long run. That was just like,
that was great, though. Let's see more of that.
I love it. He needs to fall so fucking flat on his face that it's incredible, or rebound somehow miraculously and be like, guess what? I am athletic, kind of. Like, either of those would be shocking. The backstory I have is that through casting, he was very good friends with Jeff Probst initially. After Outback, I think they were even roommates in LA, and they had some falling out. I don't know what it was. No contact whatsoever for years and years and years and years and years. And supposedly, when they got on the call to discuss season 50, Colby started sobbing when he saw Jeff Probst's face. Sobbing, emotion, tears. Bring that to 50.
Wow.
See, now I'm even more in. I'm even
tearing
more
up
in.
right now.
Yeah, this is great.
Real-time reaction to hearing this. Who among us? Riley knows this already because I wasted a solid 25 minutes of one of our very valuable hour-long planning meetings to tell him this, but I saw Jeff Probst in person for the real time 30 feet, 40 feet away from me at the White Lotus premiere.
Okay.
But it was like the sun, you know?
Yeah.
A glistening star, a beacon of light. And I also was brought to tears.
Really?
So I understand.
Teary-eyed. Yeah. Okay. Jeff doesn't have that effect on me, but but I would definitely recognize him if he were.
Yeah. The dimples, the hair, you'd spot him.
Yeah, I would be able to spot him. Okay, so we're all I'm thumbs up on Colby if he swings so hard either direction, failure or success. But if he just hunkers in the middle somewhere and ends up kind of fizzling, then I will say we should have given that spot to somebody else.
So someone is going to have to explain to him how like a shot in the dark works or like safety without power or something. And I'm here for that moment as well.
And I need it to be explained to him multiple times where he circles back and is like, Mallory, again. So like the shot in the dark again, I just want to, and you're like, are you playing that tonight? No. I just want to make sure. As
someone who has very recently tried to explain the plot of Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning multiple times to a lot of very confused people, I'm prepared to attempt to explain Shot in the Dark to Colby. Yeah.
Good. Maybe we should have gotten them on here before they left. Third on our list, Stephanie LaGrossa Kendrick. Palau. What season was Palau? Was that season 5? 4? I don't know. I don't know all the numbers. I wish they would name them numerically.
10.
It's 10. So we skip from 2 now to 10.
Yeah. Bigger jump coming later.
Yeah, that era. So early era gone. Stephanie's still kind of hovering in there. Palau, Guatemala, heroes versus villains. I have strong feelings about this one.
Tell us.
Let's hear it.
I saw a game on Traders that was way above her head, floundering in the water. I watched it again on Snake in the Grass, a single episode where she thought she knew everything that was going on, ended up not knowing anything that was going on. I don't need to see her do that again on Survivor. And my prediction is that she will do that. She will not know which way is up. The game will go over it. She'll be the Danny Boatwright from Winners at War of Survivor 50.
Tough.
And maybe she would prove me wrong, Stephanie, prove me wrong. But that's my prediction. There's so many other people I would rather see from season 3 to 10 than Stephanie.
Okay, so this is fascinating. Here's my takeaway from what you just said. I am now sensing a divide between the reaction of people who are, their reality TV experiences largely, or at least predominantly contained to Survivor.
Yeah.
And then people who are consuming more reality programming. Because I get a lot of flack from this from people I work with and other people in my life.
Okay,
I don't really have that many people in my life other than
here.
The people I work with, so I don't know what I'm talking about. I've not seen Traders.
You'd love it.
I've seen all I saw was season 1, which is Stephanie's season.
Yeah, I need to catch up on it. It's on the summer list for sure. I really feel like I have genuinely missed out on one of the rare bits of zeitgeist animating monoculture, a thing that Riley knows I love. So I will be catching up. But I think that the people who are just Survivor heads, right, and maybe are not current on Stephanie's other appearances or anybody's other appearances seemed to be one of the people they were most excited about.
Really?
Right? Like a beloved player and somebody who has a real hold on, I think, the mythology because of the Tribe of One.
Keep it a myth. Yeah. You have to keep, if you're Stephanie, you keep that shit a myth because you understand that on Traders, you did not know what was happening ever.
Hold on. Wait a second.
Okay.
Hold on.
Wow.
It's been a while, but from what I remember from season 1 of Traders was she was the one that was starting to sniff out Cirie, and then that's why they got rid of her. Is that?
I don't
Ashleigh,
even remember.
I remember
just thinking.
I don't remember anything about season 1 traitors,
Okay.
but
I don't either.
So
But here's the
boy.
thing. Here's the thing. Snake in the grass.
Mhm.
I've
There were-
not seen Snake in the Grass.
So
I
Snake in the
remember.
Grass, it was her, Cirie, and 2 other Survivor girls. And I don't remember who they all were. Like, come on. I watch so much TV. It's hard to remember all of these
We
characters.
really are just like going off the dome with this podcast.
Cirie got-
we don't remember. We don't.
Cirie
half
got her
remember.
so good. So now you go on to Traitors,
Okay.
and then Cirie's, and then you don't like immediately like take shots at Cirie after the Snake in the Grass performance. I don't know even which chronologically came first, but if you get got once and then you immediately go back to film another thing together, you have to like assume that you don't have a read on this person, and it's best to just like go.
Right.
And so that like get got by the same person twice in 1 year.
Maybe she'll get got a third time.
Oh,
Tough.
hilarious. Which brings us to
Yeah, perfect segue.
Yeah.
Cirie Fields.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. What is her
Yeah.
arc in Survivor? It's a flat line.
This is my thing with this pick is that it's like on the one hand, absolutely love Cirie.
Iconic.
Cannot
Iconic.
complain about seeing her on a screen.
Genuine
Like,
Pantheon player.
Yeah,
I love
the
her
best,
as a
the best.
person. I love
But I
her
am
on
kinda
Survivor.
Like her Survivor story is like it's kind of happened, and I'm just like, other than if she wins
But
this
she hasn't
season,
won.
it's like
Yeah.
you know,
She
But
hasn't
isn't
won.
that the point? To try to win finally?
But that's what I'm saying.
will anyone
If
let
she
her? I
doesn't
wouldn't
win,
let her.
if
Like,
she doesn't win, and
Yeah.
then then it's just the same thing we've seen over and over and over where Jeff is like, you're really shitty at challenges. Do you want to just finish this one? We're all going to take half a day off and watch you.
If we hear the phrase "got off the couch,"
Yeah.
you know,
You get
Yeah.
off the couch again.
Yeah.
My thought on Cirie, this is what I would love for Cirie. Take a bunch of fucking steroids, get fucking jacked, show up and just like wrestle Colby's face into the sand. That's the arc I want for Cirie, is just like a pummeling in the challenges. Like Cirie is just dominant in every capacity. Like otherwise we're getting the same arc. And you said, Mallory, if she doesn't win, like that is the point. If she wins, great.
Yeah.
That caps the arc. That's beautiful. But the stakes are so high. We have 24 players here. The odds of that happening are very slim. And if we don't get that, we're just getting the same.
Right.
So every season she's had has been the get off the couch storyline.
I think that the reason I'm excited just by the mere prospect of could Cirie finally do it is twofold. One, I think she is kind of the poster player for the greats who have not achieved the ultimate, like have not found the grail, right? Have not won a season of Survivor. And so the prospect of doing it and doing it somehow at long last in season 50, just this monumental showcase for Survivor history, if it happened, would be one of the coolest things that has happened in the history of like shared consumption.
For sure.
Genuinely. So if whatever you guys are the mathematicians, not yours truly.
Well, it's 1 out of 24.
If you say so. The odds are obviously, as you noted, very low, but just the possibility is enticing enough for me to get excited about it.
Okay.
I know you wanted to save the big picture thoughts for the end, but I will tip here that one of my laments about the overall constitution of the cast is that while I think there are a lot of players inside of the cast to be excited about, and a lot of interesting players, and a lot of players who, as Riley wrote in his column, I think will play a really interesting game together and probably make a very entertaining television season. The fact that we have just a couple winners in here was enough to totally undermine what I think should have been the clear structure and theme of the cast. Now, I know we have in the hands of the fans is the structure and theme of the season.
And you're putting D on the end of fans, right? So that it rhymes perfectly.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. The best to never win. That just should have been the season.
Should have been.
Like, without question.
Rob
And I don't
Cesternino
know-
is a glaring omission here in that era right there.
I mean, Rob's a glaring omission for this, like in the hands of the
Totally.
fans. It's like,
Yes.
who is a bigger fan than Rob? Okay, I could go all day about that, but that would hurt.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that like Cirie feels like an ambassador of that kind of mission for the season, and then it just crumbles a little bit when we look at the full list of 24.
Yeah. I mean, Ozzy fits that list. He's there
Mhm.
next. He fits
Yeah.
the list. To me,
Oh,
he's
the best to never win?
I mean, in a way, sure. He
kind of
loosely he could fit that. But again, Ozzy is, to me, a flat story arc. Like we haven't seen,
no question.
We haven't seen anything. We got Cirie coming off the couch, and we got Ozzy fishing, and that could be any one of the 9 seasons they've played cumulatively. And you'll be like, oh, what season was that? It was like, oh, there were 17 seasons where he was fishing by himself, and she was talking about couches. So.
Ozzy is like the first cast member here where I'm like, I'm a firm no on this. Like, it just was kind of like, I don't need to see Ozzy for a 5th time. I felt like the South Pacific was a season that was kind of somewhat engineered for him to win with
Redemption Island and you're a challenge person. Yes.
The final challenge in that season was a challenge he had done before, and then and he lost it to Sophie. And it's kind of like, okay, if he can't win that season, I just kind of think he can't win Survivor. And then they bring him back on Game Changers, and he sort of is a dud on Game Changers, and I just don't always bring it to
He might not have even won South Pacific had he gotten to the end.
Oh, I think he would have.
You think so?
Yeah, I revisited that season a few years ago, and the jury was full of like people that had been on his tribe and liked him.
Okay,
I think he was winning if he'd made it to the end.
Yeah, what would Ozzy have to do to make you feel like, okay, he was a good pick here? Nothing. There's nothing he could do. What if he came back?
I'm sure there's something. But
what if he came back like 90 pounds overweight and
harder to hang on that pole? Yeah, this was one that felt like, despite the ultimate conviction to like stick with the balance across eras and seasons, a real like we're banking on nostalgia.
Yeah.
And hoping people are excited about a thing that isn't actually that exciting anymore pick.
Yeah. I mean, not that exciting ever, really, but there was some mystique to the challenge beast for a while.
Sure.
Next up on the list, personal friend of mine, Coach Benjamin Wade.
Yeah.
I have 0 notes on this. This is just, to me, this was a thrill. Yeah, because he's one of the most entertaining players in the history of the show. So Coach is one of the players to me. This is actually a short list. The people I would literally never get tired of watching on Survivor. As you know, Tyson, you will always be number 1 on that list for me. You're my favorite player in the history of Survivor. That's established canon here at the Ringer Podcast Network.
I think it's actually in all the contracts of the employees, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Coach is an eternal wellspring of compelling television.
I thought you were going to say knowledge.
I'm not sure that is true. He thinks it's true. I don't think it's true, but that's why it's entertaining to watch.
Yes. I also love Coach. I was so excited when I first started seeing the leaks and he was not included. I was like, I would text him and be like, bro, this is a travesty. You should be there. He was like, I told him not to call me, man. And backstory is apparently, and again, his words, not mine, never fact checked any of it. He told them like a year or 2 ago, he said, I can play one more time. You tell me when you're doing a returning season and I'll text you a couple months in advance on if I'm game or not. So he supposedly stayed out of it, told him not to contact him. And then a month or 2 ago, texted Jeff Probst personally and said, I'm ready to go. Let's do it. And they were like, okay, and dropped someone and brought in Coach.
Wow. Well, I feel bad for whoever got dropped, but I'm okay with the outcome.
Yeah,
unless it's this person who I am like most despondent is not here, which we'll maybe get to later.
And you would trade that for Coach?
No.
Okay.
I don't think I'd trade anyone but you for Coach, to be frank. Coach is just like, I think what you just described in your non-fact checked anecdotal recounting is why the Coach experience is the best thing in the world. Like the inherent contradictions at play all the time. What more could we want?
It's
honestly.
True. I need Tocantins Coach. I need him to lean into not caring or being unaware of what the fan base is going to think and just coach as hard as he can possibly coach. And
if Coach and Q end up on different tribes and like one of them gets voted out, we never get an on-screen interaction between them, it'll be a travesty.
Oh my God. I think he's also the player on the list who stands to benefit most from being in a longer episode for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's just more time for us to spend in these like weird little sidebars and meditation sessions.
Yes. And I encouraged him leading up. I was like, you can do all of that stuff. Don't get caught out scrambling around and real early. Just don't get caught out scrambling between factions early. Do all the coachy things you want to do. And he was like, okay. So I did my part.
Okay.
Let us see if Coach will now deliver to us.
He's the coach, but you're the GM. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
I skipped. I went from assistant coach to GM.
Exactly. Right to the front office.
Yeah, it's crazy, which is a weird power dynamic shift. Yeah. But I'm very excited for Coach. But again, these jumps between the seasons are very big. And we keep jumping from Coach Wade, who was on Tocantins season 18, to now Aubry Bracco. Is that the biggest gap here?
Yeah, this is all the way to season 32.
18 to season 32.
Yeah, that's a lot of missed seasons.
Yeah, it's a lot of missed seasons. I understand skipping 39, but skipping all of those is absurd. There's so many good characters. There's good seasons. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. Like,
I mean, there were like a lot of returnee seasons in like the 20s, and also a lot of like just like not good seasons in the 20s.
But there's people in
still
there.
People, yeah. Oh, absolutely, 100%.
And Survivor, since I started on season 18, CBS specifically was like, we chose you because we need a younger fan base. We need people who can connect, even if they're a little older. The younger fan base connects with them and feels good about them. And that is the era that these people started watching. And so to omit that many seasons is absurd. So let's get to Aubry. Is Aubry going to fill the 15 season void or whatever we've got going on there? Is that our pick?
It's a strange pick too, because it's like, I mean, I loved her on her original season. She got a weird edit on Game Changers where she was kind of like really not very visible. Yeah. And then they still bring her back for Edge of Extinction. And she was like kind of a dud. And so I'm sort of like, you've got one really great Aubry season, and now she's going to be a 4-time player. Yeah. I think like for somebody who's debuted so late, I think she's, you know, the latest like 4-time player in Survivor. And I'm sort of perplexed by it. I don't know.
I've invited her to be on the podcast, and she's told me multiple times she does not watch Survivor anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. She said, I'd love to, but I don't really watch Survivor anymore. So the thing here with Aubry, I agree, like, you know, weird pick maybe, especially with so many people to choose from and being 4 times now here. But her life has changed, and Survivor does love a good backstory and a positive arc as a person. She's a mother now. She's, you know, taking care of a family. They love that. There was a guy on Winners at War that was a dad and was so happy when his kids came and visited him, and everybody loved it. And he went from being kind of a villain early on in his career to being America's fucking hero. And it was crazy how beloved he became and still is. He doesn't deserve the love that he gets, but it's just like,
anymore?
I don't think he's a villain anymore. And people just bring him so much love. I could do with more love. I think Jeff Probst himself said I should get more love than I get. And it's just because not everybody knows me. But if we can get
their loss.
Oh yeah, it's me. I was talking about me. But Aubry could do, like, she's a mom. She's a mom. She's fighting for something different now. I think if that was apparent in her casting, then they probably loved it.
I think that, Riley, I'm surprised you're not more enthusiastic about this, because I know Aubry's one of your favorite players.
I absolutely loved her. That was like so many people, like kind of when I went to college, I stopped watching Survivor for a bit and then came back into it. We hear from people who have that, like, or I hear from people who are like, oh, I stopped for a while and then I came back. Her season was the season I came back to, and I was just like all in on Aubry.
Yeah.
So
She
if we
got
get
off the
that
couch.
Aubry again, then this is great.
Are we going to have like a couch that only fits one and Cirie and Aubry are just fucking fighting over it?
I think then it's just a chair.
It's a chair. It's a lazy
point,
boy.
you know?
It's a
Yeah.
lazy boy.
It's just a
Sponsored by Lazy Boy, and they're just
That
like
would be great.
constantly fighting. Yeah.
They love the product placement on Survivor,
Sure
the integrated
do.
products. I feel, I guess, similarly to you guys, there's a little bit of dissonance here with Aubry for me because I have really loved in the past watching Aubry. I was shocked to confront that this is Aubrey's 4th season. Like, it's a thing that I know, but still, like, staring the truth of it in the face was kind of astonishing to me, in a sort of existential, like, dread-inducing way about the passage of time that I'll reflect on later. But more, I'm just like, Aubry 4 seasons, really? But Tyson, I think what you're identifying is I don't, we never know until we get to see somebody return whether they will give us that feeling. But I agree with you. And I have written about this on The Ringer before, specifically about you. That is my single favorite thing that can happen in a returning season. When you watch somebody who is just like ingrained in your mind in a certain type of way, and you see that they're different, and you get to think about how Survivor is like not just a television show and a game, but a lens into people's lives. And like, that is amazing when it happens. So even just the prospect, I don't know if we'll get that with Aubry. I think a lot of that depends on how long somebody stays around in a season, who they're interacting with, like what they get to do, and then what we get to watch. But even the prospect of it is, in general, in a returning player season, always exciting.
Yeah. And when Survivor's casting, they want the audience specifically to believe that the show only changes people's lives for the better. So if Aubrey's life is now better because of Survivor, like, they're never going to be like, oh, so-and-so was so heroic and then went to prison and then is a piece of shit, just a complete piece of shit. And it's only probably because he was on Survivor to begin with. Here he is. Like, nobody wants that.
Right.
And
but
Survivor doesn't want that.
And then I became a mastermind who found my confidence, is the story
and
that I
now
love
I'm
to
a
tell.
mom, and I like actually was bold enough to take steps in my life to then become this person that I am now. They will cast that person as often as they can, as long as that progression continues. And I think they're just waiting for me to be a grandpa before, because I don't know how can I get better until I'm a grandpa? It's
impossible. Yeah.
Maybe a teacher, a pro bono teacher that helps kids after school that maybe don't have good, like, there's movies about that.
Yep.
If I did that in my real life, I'll do it for the fans.
Great.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Another person
I'd watch.
You would? Okay. Well, no, but I'm going, that's to get back on Survivor.
Yeah. And I'll watch the Lifetime movie, and then I'll watch the Return to Survivor.
Good,
I'll do it all.
Yeah,
Damn
do it all. We have another person with a backstory that has changed significantly since the last time we saw her, Chrissy Hofbeck. I thought after I saw Chrissy on Heroes versus Healers versus Hustlers that we would see her back sooner than we did. I was like, oh, that's somebody who could be a returning player. Since then, though,
well, she's one of these. It's like there hasn't been a season for her to return, right? Because she didn't win, so she couldn't be on Winners of War, and so then that's it.
Yeah. So she's back now, and she's had a significant change in her life. She had cancer, went through treatment, did all of that, and again, like, battled all of that. They love that backstory. People love a story like that, a feel-good story of struggle to triumph. And so I think we're going to get something good from Chrissy. I think that she's a good pick here, and I'm happy with it. Mal?
Yeah, I've been waiting for her to return.
You've been waiting,
sure.
Riley? Yes. Same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. I think this is a good pick and a good inclusion. And Chrissy versus Ben at the end was really fun. So
yes. If only Chrissy would have won.
Yeah. Oh, we will have to, this will
guess
be
what,
so
guys? We've got fire.
interesting.
Oh, dude, if she gets to the end because there's not fire.
Well, we don't know.
I know, but
the fans voted, so there may not be fire. If she gets to the end,
yes,
and there's no fire this time. Wow, that would actually be really fun.
All right, we get to Jeff Probst's first Nepo baby. People love him. He's great on the show. If you're at a dinner party at Jeff Probst's house and tell him you want to go on Survivor and happen to be a close personal friend, he might put you on there. And that is very cool. And in the contract, you have to list every employee that you know of the company you're going to go play a game show for. And it's Mike White, everybody's favorite. Mal, you're very excited about Mike White.
I don't know how to quite articulate this. On the one hand, it is the least surprising thing in the world to me that Mike White is here, because Mike White, first of all, loves reality television, loves to play reality TV, Survivor, Amazing Race, etc. Right?
It shapes his creative juices, even in his storytelling.
Passion. Right. I find it impossible to watch White Lotus without thinking about how Mike White played David versus Goliath. So it's not surprising to me that he's back because he loves it, and he's back because maybe he's like, White Lotus season 4, what's it going to be?
I need some cameos.
Let me do some new
people.
Research on the ground. Yeah, exactly.
And he calls Jeff. He's like, a pool of 18 isn't enough to choose from. Can we do
24?
Can we get 24 out
24.
there? Yeah.
On the other hand, I can't overstate how astonished I was to see that he was a part of this. Like, Mike White is one of the most famous and consequential people in Hollywood right now. Like, this is just sort of weird for him to do, but I am so happy that he's doing it and so happy that it's happening.
How much is he giving up to be here and to do this? Like, I was like, when I even saw the rumors, like, that would be amazing and that could be accurate, but he's probably so busy. How can he afford to do this?
Here's the thing about the peak TV era. It takes 2 years, sometimes 2.5, sometimes 3 to make every HBO show now.
Okay.
Much to our lament.
Yes.
They're big. I mean, I think they're doing always a ton of scouting and research and prep for White Lotus and for every other show. But maybe this time away will actually be very beneficial and restorative, even though it will be incredibly draining and hard for him. David versus Goliath is one of my top Survivor seasons ever. It's one of my absolute favorites. And he was a huge part of why. We'll get to somebody soon who's an even bigger part of why.
Yes.
But I just kind of can't believe that this is real life. This feels like a collective fever dream that we were all like, what if Mike White went back and played Survivor 50? I just can't believe he's doing it. But the distinction too of like, Mike White was already a known person when he played David versus Goliath, but not like this.
Right.
I just can't imagine, both because of the Survivor, inside of the Survivor universe awareness, but also like White Lotus and everything else, that he's not going to be somebody who people consider and think about differently than when he was on the Goliath tribe. So I can't wait. I'm shocked by this.
Will people be able to vote him out? Because I would like a cameo on White Lotus. And so it's like, Mike, can I vote you out? Or is that going to ruin my chances of sitting in a pool chair?
Path. I think I think tension is a better path to a cameo in some ways.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it can be a little bit of an olive branch. It's like we had to work through some shit together on Survivor. And so now you can come sit on a lounge chair in Sicily.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no way they're filming in conjunction White Lotus in Fiji and just piecing together 2 different shows with the same people.
One of the things I care most about in the world right now is that season 4 of White Lotus is a cold Lotus season. It has to be at a ski lodge. It has to be on a mountain.
Yes.
I really believe this in my bones and in my soul. And so, no, I do not think that they are filming it in Fiji.
Okay.
I was literally looking up like where the Four Seasons has resorts, because they've all been at Four Seasons properties so far. It's like they don't have one in Norway. Very disappointing.
I already have envisioned, now that you put this in my brain. I stayed at a very fancy place in Germany, way up high in the mountains. It was like this wellness retreat. I'm American. I'm with my dad and my brother. And there's like this nice pool that goes indoor, outdoor. And they even had like a natural swimming pond. But then they had a sauna. And the sauna was just like, everybody's welcome. No clothes are allowed. And we're American. You go American going into a European sauna. You're like, guess everybody shits out. And my parent, my dad, my brother, very conservative. So I was like, just wrap a towel around and then drape it over your leg so it covers your junk, but like pretend like it doesn't bother you, because everybody else is just like spread eagling in there, men and women dick out. Yeah. And
Europe's great.
This is the perfect scene for White Lotus. Can you imagine the things that could happen in that sauna?
I can indeed. And now I am. Yeah.
This place also, they didn't have Wi-Fi and things like that, so you couldn't really connect digitally.
Digital detox was a big part of season 3. Yeah.
And so they had baskets of magazines at your door, and there was always pornography in there, just stacks of pornography.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, this is weird.
Remarkable.
Yeah, it really was. And I was like, wouldn't somebody just walk past, take note of the pornographic magazine on the top of the pile, and then know if you use, like, I don't know.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Seems like that's what it would be.
Circulating that as a shared experience among the guests is a choice.
Yeah. I think
Hope
there
everyone
was,
gets their own.
and then all the people working there were like these Bavarian, like, with their busts like pushed way up, in those tight
kind of place was
I don't
this,
know.
man?
Sounds incredible. Can you send us the link after
booked
we finish
it?
recording? Yeah.
Listen, I think the magazines, I think there was other magazines, but the pornography always found its way to the top. I didn't dig through a basket. I promise. I swear to God.
Well, it sounds like you didn't need to dig through the basket. You just took what was on top, and then you went about your day.
No, I didn't do any of that.
Sure.
But there were hiking trails. It was awesome. It was like really a cool place. But now that I'm describing it, yes, it does sound weird, but it does sound like a perfect setting for White Lotus 4.
I agree.
Mike White, get in touch. I will try to find out where I stayed. So all in on Mike White.
Yeah.
Can he do any wrong on this season?
That's interesting. I mean, I guess the stakes are higher for him, I think, in terms of how he behaves and then what people think about how he behaves.
And does he have to be so funny or can he just keep being himself? Or is there extra pressure for him to be entertaining?
I feel like he's just one of those guys where it's just like he just will be funny.
As long as they have wine.
Yeah.
As long as they have enough wine, he's going to be sassy.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, instead of the shot in the dark, everybody gets a bottle of wine that free refills.
Yeah, a nice rosé.
Yeah,
Love
nice rosé
That's
in your
an
bag.
interesting twist for Survivor season is we just have an open bar the whole time.
Yes.
No other
empty stomach.
There's no
food,
gameplay changes at all. It's just like, here's the mini bar. We'll always have it stocked.
Dude, I am not a drinker, but if there's calories there, then I ultimately would have to indulge. If they're like the only calories you can get are from the wine. So
I don't think that would help. I don't think this is the calories you want.
It's something. It's something. Okay, well, to each their own, Riley. I think any calories are better than 0 calories at a certain point.
Riley's more of a microbrew guy, so
yeah,
they'll have that too. That's got calories. That has calories.
Yeah.
David versus Goliath. Angelina Keeley. Is this the one you're very excited about? I assume it's the next.
Correct. It's the next one.
Yeah.
I mean, I am very excited for Angelina, but this is just a testament to like how stacked the David versus Goliath.
Here's the question though.
Was.
Angelina to me is like, I mean, watching Angelina on David versus Goliath was a genuinely singular television experience.
Can she repeat it? It was like Coach on Tocantins to heroes versus villains.
The fucking jacket, the fake idol, like how can we possibly replicate the experience of watching Angelina play, last, implode, all of it in real time? Like there was almost nothing like it. Are
we going to see her try to play her? That's my fear, is watching Angelina trying to play Angelina.
Yeah.
Because that's what the fans expect. And then we're just going to get like a bunch of like weird memes and underly confident lines delivered. I hope not.
The memes were great, though.
Yeah, they sure were. Did you see the one with the Jeff Probst where he was just like, what the fuck are... It was like Jeff Probst's voice, but they're like, what the fuck are they doing? She was like putting it in her mouth as she's like trying to walk across the balance beam. And
oh my God.
So
Remarkable.
Good. I think she's going to be okay. My only fear is like she goes out and tries to play a character too hard and she Ruperts herself, which is
She's she was not a mom on her first season.
Correct.
And she is now.
Correct.
So she's one of these that has
positive arc.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I think she's gonna be great. She's one I'm most excited for. One of the
most. Okay. Yeah. Next up, David versus Goliath. Christian Hubicki.
This is the one I'm most excited about of every single person in the cast.
Yeah, I love Christian. I love Christian. Tell us.
If you had said you can put the cast together yourself. Who would you pick? My first pick would have been you, Tyson, and Christian would have been my second pick. No joke.
Yeah.
Like, no, second pick.
And we would have ran it all the way to the end for you.
No doubt.
Christian and I. Yeah.
There's a missing player who did not make it, who I also would have had very high on my personal draft, who I'm just frankly like astonished isn't here.
Tell us. Who is it?
Jesse.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's fucked up that Jesse's not here, and I don't understand it.
I think what Riley wrote in his article is accurate.
Mr. Beast.
His son won $500K on Mr. Beast. The backstory isn't as that's like it's not their story. It's like it wasn't caused by Survivor. It was positive, but it's like yeah. So then his story of struggling for his family and being out there willing to do anything. I think they were just like no. Nope, sorry.
Here's my note on there. No, that was wrong. That was the wrong decision.
I agree.
It was dumb and it was bad, and Jesse should be on the show. And Jesse and Christian are really different players to me, but they're all of a piece in one sense, which is like, again, they fit into that the best who never won, I think, really firmly. And also they're just, I think, iconic modern players who people love to watch and talk about. Just anecdotally, the people in my life who watch Survivor and who like will text after an episode, I'll get back to Christian in a second. I won't linger on Jesse for too long, but I never heard from more people about a player in the new era than about Jesse ever. And specifically the question that he sparked of, wait, are we at a point in the show where like the best player actually can't win? And what does that mean? There was just so much conversation around that in his season. So I think it would have been really cool to get him another chance. Christian is, to me, indelible and undeniable as a Survivor force. I can't overstate how much fun I had watching him. He's a huge part of why David versus Goliath is one of my favorite seasons. His arc, his development, the way that he like we've talked a lot about arcs across seasons, but his arc inside of a season was just like riveting to watch, and he was really fucking good at it. And I think that the modern game in particular is defined by a lot of players who have grown up and spent a lot of time watching Survivor, are Survivor super fans, think that they are scholars and think that they know a lot about it. They all think they're Christian, but only Christian is actually Christian. He was so good at it. And when when the run finally ended, I can't remember like being that devastated. It just felt like it should have been his season to win, and that he was actually genuinely deprived of a thing that should have been his. I'm so happy he's back.
Yeah.
This is one where it's like he's just been such a lock to return if they only had like a returnee season.
So many conversations around it.
It's gotta be him.
I mean, the second that season ended, it was like, when is Christian coming back? Yeah. When do we get to see Christian
I never
again?
thought we'd have to wait this long. It's actually been agonizing to some extent that it has been this long for a returnee season.
Yeah.
In part because it's like, I want Christian back.
Yeah.
And I think I've said this on the podcast multiple times. Survivor does go in cycles. I think we're going to see a lot of returning seasons coming up. I think every other or every third season is going to be a returnee season in some capacity, whether it's half the cast or captains or something. I think they're going to see this. Even though this cast may not be exactly what everyone wants, you only need 5 absurd people to make a season of Survivor. Everybody else is going to be filler and background noise, and you need 5 people going as hard as they can, making good and bad moves, and it's going to be fine. And they definitely, with 5 out of 24 people losing their shit over trying to play the game as hard as they can is the season.
I love a returning player season, but if that prediction pans out and ends up being true, it makes the over-reliance on recent seasons in this cast even more puzzling to me.
Yeah, which we're getting to very quickly here. Christian, I love it. I'm good friends with Christian, always entertaining when he comes on the podcast. And I also know he has a lot of desire to go back. Every conversation I've had with him is, when do you think is something like this is going to happen? Do you think they're going to do something for 50? Am I going to? And so he's itching and ready to go. So hopefully he's done his homework and gets out there and crunches those fucking numbers so hard.
I can't wait.
Let's get to Nepo baby number 2, Rick Devens. You want to see some news broadcasting out there again, Mal? Are you excited for that?
Yeah, bring back that bit.
Yeah, I love a recurring bit. Riley, were you about to say, is this a polarizing pick?
I think he's a polarizing. Like, I feel like I've seen some people who loved Devens. he was
Jeff.
not.
Are you talking about Jeff Probst?
Well, Jeff, but I mean, they're like actual fans of the show too. But he was actually not really my cup of tea in his season. Not my favorite. And you know,
I don't feel
this was
threatened by people.
We knew he was going to return at some point. It's fine.
I don't feel threatened by people who try to be funny on Survivor, but when I feel like they're trying to be funny and to me it's not fully hitting, I am offended by it a little bit.
Right.
Because I'm like,
well, not everybody is as much of a natural comedic genius as you are.
No,
so.
That's the thing. That's why I take offense to. And so, it's fine. He's entertaining enough. I've had the conversations with him. He did cancel on our finale episode. He was going to be our guest here at The Pod Has Spoken.
Oh, that's right. He canceled on us.
But rightfully so. Oof. But I was the one that reached out to him and was like, we're still doing this? Because I saw his name popping up. He's like, no, we're not. I was like, oh, good thing I asked you.
Yeah.
So,
oh, man.
Yeah.
He had his season, he had a fascinating run. On Edge of Extinction. It was such the highs and lows, real peaks and valleys. I'll be interested to see how he plays now that he's back. But this was one where I was like, oh, Devens, okay. That makes complete sense that he's back. No surprise there.
Yeah. He I think he's gonna get drowned out. I think there's bigger personalities. I think there's I think there's funnier people. I think there's more absurd people. We go back to Mike White here. We go back to as someone who comedy wise and more entertaining. And I do think that he's going to have a hard time getting airtime if he is not in control of the game.
That actually might be good. I feel like part of why I'm sort of soured on him is that his season just, it was just not a good cast. And he was the only one bringing anything. So it was just it became the Rick Devens show. And I was like, I actually don't really like the Rick Devens show. This is way too much Devens.
Yeah.
And so if it's a much more modern amount of them, maybe I'll go the other way and actually really enjoy it.
Yeah, that could, maybe, or you won't see him at all.
Well, maybe I'll enjoy that too. I don't know.
The moment Mallory has been waiting for here. Let's get into the new era.
Yeah.
I mean, we're about to get into maybe the biggest Nepo baby.
Yeah.
On this season.
You think this is the biggest Nepo baby here?
Literally and figuratively, maybe. I mean, as far as Jeff's favorites go.
Really?
Well, I don't think
Jeff.
So.
I think Jeff
liked him. Are we talking about the same person? I think we're moving on to Jonathan, right?
We're moving on to Jonathan. I'm ingrained in the community a little bit more than you are, Riley. You're getting there. I don't think Jonathan has Jeff Probst's number. I don't think they talk on a regular basis. I think Jeff and Mike White do. I think Jeff and Devens do. I think Jonathan Young had his one and done. And I think that Jeff probably got starry eyes for him during the season. But I don't think that the connection was so close that Jeff was like, here's my personal phone number. Go ahead and let's text once in a while. I don't think that happened. And so for me, I don't think that's a Nepo baby. But
I was just going off of speculation that, in the past, Jeff has loved the beefy dude archetype.
No, he still loves a beefy dude. He still fucking loves a beefy dude.
And that Jonathan was the only returnee from 41 through 44. Right.
Yes.
It was just when I saw that, I was like, yep, that makes perfect sense. I know who would pick Jonathan as the number one player from those 4 seasons, but perhaps it's a little more complex.
Interesting. I would be surprised to learn that Jonathan and Jeff were texting because I would be surprised to learn that Jonathan had a smartphone.
Yes.
It just doesn't seem like his vibe.
He makes his own shirts. He makes his own phones.
It does not seem like a big texter to me. Maybe the pulse frequency that they used in Andor, perhaps. Jonathan's an interesting one to me because watching Survivor 42, Jonathan was undeniable. Right? Genuine. When we talk about challenge piece, there's tiers inside of that label. And Jonathan is kind of in a class of his own.
During a new era when they mostly cast people who were physically incapable.
Yeah.
By juxtaposition, it does look like incredible feats of athletic prowess.
Exactly. But he, I think, also is an archetype for another type of player, which is you really actually only have one lane. And to see the dominance paired with the way that he was exposed when it was time to play strategically and it was time to play socially was interesting to watch, I thought, but didn't actually make me feel like I needed to see him play again.
Jonathan, to me, is fine here. When I saw him the first time, I was like, oh, this guy's coming back because he's so strong and good at challenges. And if you have like someone who historically, like if you have Ozzy on this season, then you need a challenge guy from the new era. And maybe that's the balance there. But again, like you said, like, is he going to be able to step up strategically? I don't think so. Is he going to be able to step up socially? No, I don't think so. I think he's like the lone wolf, but he's like the Ozzy character. Ozzy's the lone wolf too. They're going to be out there just like getting jealous of how many fish each other's catching and coming in and being like, how many did you get? Oh, that's a little fish. And they're just going to be fucking talking about fishes. And then they're going to be out there.
That honestly sounds great. Dick measuring in the form of how many fish did you catch is, I would watch that.
But not just how many fish, the quality of fish also matters.
Certainly the size, the length and the girth of the fish, all of it.
All of it. And so I think that's the story of these two. I think they will be on different tribes. I think they will, hopefully, I just need to see him going out fishing and then having confessionals about who the better fisherman is. And then both of them can go. That's it. That's what I want.
Perfect.
That's what I want from Jonathan and Ozzy. And if we don't get that, then we could have filled both of those spots with somebody else. Okay. Emily Flippin. Yes. What will she do here?
I liked her a lot on her season. I also felt that her arc was complete by the end of that season. So I'm kind of like, I don't know where she goes from here. I'm not sad to see her at all, but
where does she go? Does she step her arc up? Is it continuing? And we've said this before, Riley. She talked about how Survivor changed her life and maybe she has a heart enough to get married. And I said, there's no way they're ever bringing her back now unless she does get married. After saying that on Survivor, and I think she did get married.
Did she? Yeah. Well,
probably just to get on the show. Confirm. And so now she's here. And that's a positive trajectory in the in the minds of society. And so I think she was one of those she's during watching her season, I was like, she's a shoe-in for a returning season with her arc. But then her arc devolved again, where she was like, I'm learning. I'm not so brash. And then she was like, oh, no, never mind. I can't help myself but be brash and say things that I shouldn't in moments when I shouldn't say them. And so it was kind of like this, blip. And strategically, I think they framed her to be very good. But when we saw her exit strategically, she was not good. And I think they kind of masked that a little bit from us. So, I don't know. To me, she, as far as that, a performance on 50.
Yeah. Yeah, this is kind of a question mark for me as well, because the evolution of Emily inside of 45, the turnaround, the journey that Emily went on was both internal and external, and that's always interesting to watch. What does that mean then for a return? I have no idea. And what is Emily thinking? Is she like, I need to be something unexpected and surprising, or people have seen me go on this journey and maybe I will have now actually a bit of a shortcut, a shorter distance between 2 points to connecting than the prior time. It could go a number of different ways. But I don't know. There was something kind of lightning in a bottle about the journey Emily went on in her season that feels like it will be a little bit difficult to match. Not necessarily in terms of the outcome, but in terms of her standing as a television character. I understand that these are real people with real lives, but there was something just so distinct about that journey. I have no idea really what we'll get.
Yeah. And that's a question mark for me too. I think she got married. She's probably done some of that stuff. Maybe she feels like she's more socially capable, and maybe she will be. And maybe they saw that in casting and put her on here. Nepo Baby number 2, the host of Jeff's second season of the podcast, I think. Third season? I don't know. Dee Valladares just got back from the challenge. But Carolyn not allowed to go on Survivor because she was on Traitors. Dee filmed 2 seasons back to back, pretty much. Thoughts on having a winner D, host of Jeff Probst's podcast, back?
I like D a lot on her season.
And I like her as a person. She's very nice. Sure. Yeah, she's great.
I feel like I would have enjoyed this season. Or I would have been... this cast would have made more sense, as you're saying, Mallory, if it was the best to never win. So just throwing in 2 winners here, it just feels like this all isn't of a piece, you know?
Replace D with Jesse.
Yeah.
We'll get to Kyle. I'm much higher.
Or Carolyn.
Or Carolyn.
Replace Kyle
replace
with
D with
Cody. Yeah.
Let's replace D with Carolyn, and let's replace I actually really liked Kyle. I thought Kyle's season run was incredible, but I'm less high on D actually. I just don't understand why we have 2 winners here. I don't get it at all.
Yeah.
Baffling to me.
Yeah. Was plenty of fish to choose from in the new era of people that were more entertaining for the viewer. But like, I understand a lot goes into casting, like who's available, who's mentally sound, who's physically okay, who can take the time off. All of those things matter, but you have to assume you can fill the gaps a little bit better than this. And yeah, D for me is also, it's the same. It just doesn't make sense. Like there's no old school winners. There was opportunities. There's Earl Cole. There's Vesepia. And Vesepia might have said she didn't want to go back is the rumor I'm hearing, but I'm not certain. There's Jenna Maraska. She's had a hell of a life now. That might be a backstory worth exploring. And so, yeah, puzzling. D is a puzzle as to why she's here. Q. Next up.
Not
Shoe
a
in.
No puzzle. This was
the most certain
Vegas took this
pick.
off the board.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It was no puzzle. He should be here. He was the first one that was like, when someone said season 50 returning season, the fan base all immediately screamed Q.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's he going to bring this time?
I have no idea, and that's the whole point.
That's the whole point.
He doesn't know either.
He doesn't know, and I think he thinks he knows.
Conversation he doesn't know. It might change.
He thinks
the best.
I think he thinks he knows, but he's going to get out there and then just change 10 different directions in one paragraph. And
exactly.
Very, very excited to see him communicate with some people on here. Emily and Q interaction would be very interesting. I think
Angelina and Q,
Coach,
almost anyone in Q.
Anyone in Q. Do you think that Q can make Joe interesting?
Yeah, I think that Joe.
Well, I love Joe.
Remember when Joe was like calling stars kryptonite or whatever? I don't know what
Q is going to be the new kryptonite for Joe.
I think Joe might get a little frustrated with Q.
Yeah. Okay. Is Joe specifically here to have his villain arc now?
Well, we can talk about.
We will,
Joe.
but we'll get into it.
Order?
Yeah.
Or,
no, we don't want to go out of order. We'll get to Joe. Nepo baby number 3, Charlie Davis, a host of Jeff Probst's podcast, season 3, is with us. And do we need to hear more about Taylor Swift? What?
I don't need to hear more about Taylor Swift. No. I hope we drop that. I hope there's no more song competitions or whatever. You know,
do you think that we should have had Taylor Swift recognize Charlie before they left for 50 just to get that out of his system, and that would have been better for us?
Probably. Yeah, probably should have happened at one of the Super Bowl post games, finish hugging and kissing Travis and then just mention Charlie. That would have been great.
CBS just pays Taylor Swift like $400 million to be like, Charlie, I recognize you. Please don't shout me out ever again on
I think it would cost more than that to get Taylor Swift to do this, honestly. Taylor's quite busy.
Yeah, what's her cameo rate at this point?
It's exorbitant. Riley, I think you're the good news is I don't think you have to worry about mentioning any more Taylor Swift songs because there are no more to mention. Charlie mentioned them all. We spent that much time watching Charlie list Taylor Swift songs. I thought Charlie was a good and interesting player. I think the Maria Alliance, when a player is that associated with a pair, inside of a pair, not just an alliance, but one other person who was so central to their game for so long. I'm always interested to see, do they seek to replicate that, to find one person to play with? Do they feel like everyone's going to assume that that's what they're going to do. And so they need to try something radically distinct. I'm interested to see like how Charlie amends his game, but I thought Charlie should have won, not Kenzie. So I'm interested to see him back.
So this is what I actually think would have been cool to see is if they had cast Maria on this season too, because that tension would have been insane.
Yeah.
And then just do tribes of 2.
Yeah. You get duoed up.
Yeah, that would have been hilarious. Maria was in casting, and I think she got her heart broken by Survivor casting.
Yeah.
So it would have been great, though. I think a rival season would have, any season theme would have made sense here, but that rival season with those two on it would have been really, really special. So yeah, Charlie, I don't hate the Charlie one. I think that the Taylor Swift stuff was quite forced. I think that was his preconceived idea for when he went on Survivor, was to keep doing that. And it fell kind of flat after, what would you say, like the 40th time? But let's just not get those Taylor Swift, or just edit them out, editors. Like, we don't need that again. But we do have 90-minute episodes, so maybe we are going to get it again. Next on the list, Tiffany Irvin, season 46.
This is the biggest puzzle for
me. I like this. I like it just fine.
I don't mind it. I'm not saying I mind it. She was not on like my short list of people who I thought would be cast.
Yeah. I think she's fun. She's positive. She has like good energy. And I think that
I agree.
They probably were attracted to all of that. There's other people, sure. Say, especially as we get into the 48 3-pack here. But I like the Tiffany pick. There's always like a lot of these seasons are won by previously.
Yeah, so I was going to say she's like locked in as my winner pick, because it feels like it's often just a total rando that wins some of these All-Star seasons.
Yeah.
And she's the biggest kind of rando to me on this cast. I think that she comes in super under the radar, which is an advantage.
Yes. Yeah. It almost is always, it's almost always an advantage. I'm happy to see her. We'll see.
Yeah, Tiffany was such a like no bullshit straight shooter. I'm interested to, I think that's really interesting when there's simultaneously like a lot of new players who obviously Tiffany has never interacted with, but also people from Tiffany's season who she has a lot of history with, like seeing Q and Tiffany together again is just going to be, I think, like appointment television. So I'm fast. I was surprised to see Tiffany on the list as well, but I think she'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah. With 3 from 46, probably could have left one of those 3 out of there.
I don't know that we needed 3 from season 46.
But I probably would have chosen Charlie. If you're not going to have Maria there, let's get Charlie out and Q and Tiffany, put them together and put someone wacky in between them. Next up, 47. Heard she has a new haircut, going with a bob this season.
Wow. That's the fashion right now.
Genevieve.
Yeah. Or so Instagram tells me.
Yeah, okay. I'll have to grow my hair out then to get that sweet Lord Farquaad bob. Genevieve Mushaluk. You like the Genevieve pick? It's the sole representative of season 47.
I mean, she's great. I think this is a great pick. She was like kind of a no-brainer for me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Genevieve was fun to watch.
47 had Andy.
I'm surprised Andy's not here.
I would have loved Andy. Yeah. But Genevieve is like somebody who I feel like after watching 47, you kind of circle and you're like, well, she'll be back.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like the Genevieve pick here. I think her struggle with like being emotionally distant to then realizing she needs to be emotionally available and how she balances that this time. Yay, Genevieve. Let's go. 48 3-pack. This is where definitely now seeming like an overload of 3-packs. We get Joe. You're a big Joe fan, Mal. What is your thoughts on this season 48? Were you with the fan base?
I loved it.
You loved it.
Yeah, I did. I just am such a sap.
Okay.
Like I'm so inclined to just weep freely watching something that touches me. And I was moved to tears watching season 48 more than I had been by like any prior season of Survivor.
Was it when Jeff cried that made you cry extra?
I was a wreck when Jeff cried. A wreck. But I just found my journey with the recent seasons is often, as Riley has heard me bitch about many times, like I have a very hard time investing in the players early and often actually a little bit alienated by like how they all think they're God's gift to Survivor and are just constantly embarrassing themselves, right? But also it's fun to watch. And then, once we get further into the season, I latch onto them and develop more attachments. This was like the first time in a while though where we got to final 6 and I was like, this feels like kind of a decent final 6 to me. I like enough of these people. I thought that watching Kyle in the back half of the season was riveting. I thought he played wonderfully. I thought that Kyle and Camilla were, incredible together, and that their stealth, tradecraft, spy act duo dominance was just like one of the most memorable things that we've seen in Survivor in a long time. And the moment that it was revealed at Final Tribal was, very painful because I love Eva, but also like in terms of sealing things for Kyle, just masterfully executed. It was incredible to watch. So I love Kyle. I thought Kyle was great and I'm excited to watch Kyle play again. But again, so my note on Kyle has nothing to do with Kyle as a player. I love him and more just like, why are the winners here at all?
Right.
I can't wait to watch Camilla play again. Like I'm
what
really
about Kyle
excited
and Camilla?
about that.
Are you excited about that coming back together?
Well, the interesting thing about that to me is now they're on
everyone's radar.
Everyone knows. Yeah.
Like I kind of don't like
again.
that they're cast together actually, because I feel like they're just one of them is going to get cut super early because you just can't keep them both.
It's very hard. When Coach and I went back to Heroes and Villains, like 6 months after Token Cheens, it was very, and we were put on the same tribe again, and Coach kept coming to me. I was like, bro, you can't talk to me at all. At all. You can't be seen talking to me ever at all, ever. And he couldn't help himself because I'm so lovable. But it was
magnetic.
Like, that is, if they can somehow convince everybody that they're not working together, like I literally think like CBS is like, we'll pay you each an extra $50,000 if you can convince everybody that you're not together this time.
I feel like there are only two. No, I think there are only two possibilities for them as a duo.
Yeah.
They go for each other immediately.
Right.
Because they don't want to risk that people think they're secretly working together. Just eliminate that consideration at the jump. And the fact that they were both so like cold calculus brass tacks with each other at the end, like I actually can't. This has been great. Honor of my life to work with you and play with you. I can't be next to you at the end. I thought was so refreshing and interesting and cool to watch. So I won't be surprised if they try to eliminate each other right away. But because they're both such creative Survivor players, and I think subtly bold, like a good combo, subtly bold Survivor players, I won't be surprised at all if they attempt to outsmart everybody by assuming that everybody thinks there's no way they'd try to play together again, banking on that assumption, and then actually attempting to do it. I think that would be like fascinating to watch. So I'm just kind of curious to see whether they feel compelled to radically alter their approach or whether they want to tap into that shared history knowing everybody else is aware of it.
Yeah.
Joe to me is just like obviously can't measure up as he owned and noted to Kyle and Camilla as a strategic power. But I just thought, not to be too corny and lame, that Joe was a gemstone of a human, and it really touched me to watch him and Eva. Like, it really touched me. I thought it was so lovely, and I'm excited to see him play again. So
here's my thoughts on that. If I'm Joe, but with like somehow also my wherewithal and brain in this head here, so I'm trying to put myself in Joe's shoes, but also still use my brain here. The pressure to be a good guy is so high. And to be like, I cannot let the fan base down. I have to let everybody keep believing that I am such is he locked into not being able to betray? Because then there is that call out like, you lied now. And I
hope it's like, I hope that what happens, because so much of his story on 48 was like, I need to make my kids proud. They need to see, how you play with like honor or whatever. And I hope that his family was like, dude, I hope you get out there this second time and just lie to everybody.
But it's not even that. It's the whole fan base. It's millions of people that are now watching him being like, is this guy going to put his money where his mouth is? Or is now he going to bend to the game, letting him now discard his morals?
I hope it's the latter. I hope that it's like, I have permission now.
I hope so, but there's so much
this
pressure.
Reputation that I've built up as being so trustworthy and honorable, and actually play a cutthroat, like more villainous game.
You know that really Rupert actually became a pirate because he had to, because he played a pirate on his first season. Then every subsequent season, he was like, fuck, I got to be a pirate again. Joe is stuck in this good guy loop where he's like, anytime there's any eyeballs on me, I have to be the best human that is possibly even has ever walked the earth, at least top 3. And there's just like so much pressure, and he did it. Yeah.
I'm like less interested in seeing that.
Yeah.
I'd be more interested if he's like, I can use the reputation to my advantage, and less interested in like, I just have to live up to like the hero archetype. Like,
yeah. I mean, I think undeniably what you're saying is right, Riley. Like, that would be more interesting to watch. Yeah. I will be
this is why I'm not Joe.
If that happens.
Is because
Mal will be astonished and absolutely disgusted in him as a human.
I'm with Riley. I would celebrate it. I think it would be cool and interesting to watch. And I think that level of self-awareness and reflection, and also like you can even spin it as, you know, a lot of this is about teaching my kids a lesson and showing them. I think one of the lessons is people change. People can tame multitudes. Let's do that. Let's make that the focus.
They can change for the worse by lying.
They can become monsters and betrayers. I just thought, I mean, I don't want to like diminish or minimize the number of people on Survivor who are saying sincere things. I think we see a lot when people say this like experience changed me and it impacted me positively, that's obviously genuine and real, no question.
Yeah.
But I thought that even inside of that shared truth, when Joe was saying at the end, like, I'm paraphrasing, but basically like, yeah, I would really like the $1 million for my family. I believe I deserve the $1 million for my family. But also like the single most important thing to me was to show people I'm a good man. And I got to do that. I believed that he meant that. And so it makes it feel to me like a core fundamental aspect of his being that I don't think he will be willing to compromise. But I agree with you that if he did, it would be better TV.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you right now, I feel way better getting paid $1 million than I would feel having an audience of strangers believing I'm a good person.
Same.
Then we're all in agreement.
This is why you're Tyson and not Joe.
Yeah. Okay. 2 unnamed contestants from 49.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And they're both going to be question marks, and they both can tell the cast about each other. Supposedly we got the Riz God, who doesn't seem like he's got the amount of Riz that somebody who gives themselves the name the Riz God would, but I think that's the beauty of it. Riz God, Q, and coach
I think
conversation.
He is exactly the amount of Riz that I would expect from somebody who named themselves the Riz God.
Mal, do you have a winner pick?
I'm going with Christian. Come on.
Okay. Christian. Riley is with Tiffany.
I already said Tiffany. Yep.
Ashleigh, any thoughts on a winner here?
I'm gonna say Q. Wouldn't that be wild?
Ooh, yes, it would. That would be amazing.
That's a fun season of Survivor.
I'm also going to say Q. And it wasn't because...
Holy shit.
Yeah. I think we're going to get a Q that can hold back a little bit in public with the social dynamics of the tribe. And I think after playing one time, there's a learning curve to Survivor.
I don't think Q can hold back at all. This is like your Joe. Like Q is gonna be all gas, no brakes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go different.
Oh man, I didn't mean to talk you out of it. No.
Well, no, there's 4 of us. We should get 4 different interests here so that the fans of the podcast have somebody to back. Let's go, coach. Let's go, coach.
I love it.
There you go.
Let's go, coach. He was so close on South Pacific.
If he just doesn't hug this time.
Just don't hug as you vote people out. Just let them simmer and boil and then cool off.
I love a hug.
Yeah. What?
I love a hug.
You do? If I voted you out of the game after I promised you final 3 and you stood up to get your torch snuffed, and I was like, Mallory, can I hug you real quick? And then like,
that's a great question.
Don't look at me. Don't touch me.
Yeah, I would like to believe that I would have the grace to say, bring it in, buddy. But that's probably not what would happen because I'm a deeply bitter and resentful person.
You can hug at Ponderosa 2
but
weeks
I do
after.
hug.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, well, Mallory, you're my pick for season 51. I've been putting your name into Survivor constantly.
I wouldn't last half a day.
That's what a lot of people see. But have you seen a lot of the incompetent people that last longer than that on this?
I just
show?
can't. I can't go more than 45 minutes without a snack. I can't. I can't.
Coconuts? Have you tried coconut?
I do love a coconut. I love a coconut, but I also like flaming hot Cheetos and full pints of ice cream and pizza.
Okay.
I just don't think. I don't really think I would struggle to deceive and manipulate people, but I do believe that I would struggle with the lack of food.
Well, that's the beauty of the game, is that by struggling with the lack of food, you would then struggle to deceive people because you'd be low on fuel.
Also, can you imagine the sunburn? I just don't have the complexion.
They have sunscreen out there.
They don't let him wear hats anymore. There's this like clip going around of Colby, and here's just villain. He's got the huge straw hat on. And
He'll have a hat.
Okay, so that's what I would need to go on Survivors. Like I need an exception to the rule. I got to be able to wear a
Colby will have a hat. People who are signature hat guys from their first season always get hats.
Rob always gets to wear the Red Sox hat. Yeah.
So, okay, well, that will do it. We will get more in depth as the preseason interviews come out. Should we even cover 49, or should we just talk about season 50 for a year?
Why not both?
Yeah, we can do both.
Write to us in the comments. Let us know what you want.
Yeah, let us know what you want to hear most about. Mallory, thank you so much for your time
Thank you guys.
and energy.
What a privilege.
Mallory, I would love it if you came back for the in-depth next year.
I would be the honor of my life.
Then let's do it. We'll get it on the books. Yeah, next spring, right? January, February-ish. We will be back
26.
with Mallory. And that's it. It's booked. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, Mallory Rubin, Riley McAtee, Ashleigh Smith for making us sound and look amazing. Until we get into season 49, that'll do it here at The Pod Has Spoken. Thanks for tuning in and supporting us and sharing with your friends and buying cameos from Riley. Till next season. See ya.
What's my rate on Cameo?